Hey everyone, this is Louis7, and today I am streaming the Lord of the Rings online. I'm basically going to be doing some of the content with the new update. I don't have any very specific plans as far as what I'll be doing, but thought I could log into the Rune Keeper, which actually did receive an update. I would in times in the past call it a pretty sizable update for just a classwork in LOTRO, but compared to some other bigger revamps that have gone on the past year or so, Yellow Line Rune Keeper actually received relatively, I guess, minor changes compared to that. So it's something that, yeah, just didn't seem all that much compared to, like, of course, the Captain Warden revamp, but still pretty sizable changes, so thought I would play around with that. Unfortunately, I cannot connect to the LOTRO website at all. I just imagine they're experiencing issues. I couldn't connect to the forums at all yesterday, and it's been very intermittent the past month or so that I've even been able to connect. Usually it's like during the daytime, oddly enough, it'll just like not connect, but yeah, it does look like the trait points weren't reset, which is almost surprising considering they do like any sort of minor thing, and then it's like they have to reset the trait points or your trait configuration, I mean. So I guess that's okay to see, good to see. I also don't remember reading that specifically in the notes, so that is perfectly fine. And then we need to... Bail Avark, is that what it's called? I think... Wait, what is it called? You should be able to travel from Rivendell, right? Am I at the wrong Rivendell? Yeah, there's only Gathforth near here. Huh. Oh, it's from this guy. The Assistant Stable Master. So, he's far-ranging, okay, sure. What do my cats think about the new revamps? Well, Piper here, she doesn't think they're exciting at all. She thinks that they need to add more food into the game, so she's pretty excited about that crafting update. Lexi there, I think she's enjoying them more. Lexi, the one, hold up, I can do this. Oops, yeah, that one, right there. Yeah, with the cat cam, it's not perfect, but that is one thing I can actually do with it. So, oh, this view ain't good. I have another view. There she is on the couch, being a cat on a blanket. And now y'all know the secret for my lighting. I just have a lamp next to it and another lamp on the other side. Felipe, I am on Langeval. Since we transferred. Okay, so I did check with the kin and there were a few people on, so I thought we could do the new 3-mans actually in a group, but I would like to take a moment here to at least get this character a little bit settled and, of course, do the new intro quest with that. So I gotta pick up all these quests, and eventually I think talking to people will advance the book quest. I think we have to do 1 or 2 travels before we can get the instance quest. It's not really that long of an intro, which is good when thinking about alts. A lot of the content in it is more, I guess, optional in that you can read the quest text, of course. But the little scenario that they have you go through and watch over is fairly short. Yes, the cats are being good cats this evening. They actually are good cats, but sometimes they're right up in my face. So I'm actually, if you all paid attention to my last stream, I actually wasn't sure that I could do a stream on a Tuesday like this. Actually, I guess I should start this with my content has been a little bit messed up the past couple days from what was initially planned. But yes, with Tuesday, you'll see how late the stream started. That's about as early as possible. Like me moving pretty quickly. I wasn't like super rushing to get this stream started, but it is Yeah, difficult for me to start a stream early on Tuesday and to stream in general, but fortunately tomorrow I'm not quite like as busy where I feel like I had to really prepare anything, so that is all good. And with content in general the past couple of days, and one of the reasons I am doing this stream, say today instead of tomorrow, is YouTube decided to not process the video that was supposed to be published yesterday. So there was no video yesterday, even though I had it planned and had everything ready for it, except YouTube decided to not process the video. It even had all night to do that. Okay, somebody is looking for information. If you head to the new Baal Avar camp, you can start the book quest. Angmar Reborn, Chapter 1. Okay. For anybody curious, if you're looking to start the new Return to Carn Dum content, besides just following exactly what I did, Baal Avar is the new camp, and you can pick that up and it'll give you eventually quests. I won't really spoil the story besides what you're obviously seeing here. Yes, that eventually leads to quests for like the 3-man's, 6-man, I think. But I figured I could go ahead and start this before I actually run one of the dungeons. That way this character is getting progress. But yeah, with the Rune Keeper changes, let me see if I can actually connect to the LOTRO website now. Oh, I can, okay. The forums look like I still cannot, but to actually get to the update notes. Speaking of update notes, there is update 34.0.1 scheduled for tomorrow. I glanced over that and didn't see anything of like that brought a ton of excitement to me. Not to mean that it's a bad patch or anything, but there wasn't anything that stand out where I actually remember it, basically. Okay, so Rune Keeper. The patch notes for update. Oh, this is update 35 or 34. There we go, update 35. The patch notes for update 35 are very, very long. I think this could be even a record for longest patch notes in any LOTRO update. But with, oh my, can't even find the Rune Keeper changes. At some point, I should just press Control F and type Rune Keeper and it would come up. But yes, here it is. Okay, so the main things with Rune Keeper, because I forget with all the other things that they did. Oh yeah, so they rebalanced damage-wise. Epic Conclusion, which is, I don't know, that number doesn't look impressive, but something to keep in mind with his character is his gear is not great, and compared to Louis, oh my gosh, my health is tiny, but compared to Louis, his gear is terrible is how I'd put it. I think I still have a lot of level 130 pieces as I'm just skimming over this. 115, wait, Abyss? Oh yeah, okay. I have a fix for some of this stuff, actually. So I had some of these pieces of gear equipped. This is going to be better. Yeah, that's like still 130. But some of these pieces of gear were for the Abyss of Mordath to get my Light of Arendelle up. Basically replaced all my jewelry, so yeah, that's the deal with that. It also, wait, this is a tanky? It's bound to account. It's a bracelet. It's very tanky stat-wise, so it helped this character's survivability, but it would come at the cost of essentially damage. So if I wanted to think about this piece of gear, if I'd want it, yeah, it's basically if I just want survivability. Like, that is a raw survivability piece of gear for this character. If I were in a healing role, I probably would be best off equipping that. Also, let me go back to chat so I can actually see what's going on. Hello, Hunsu. And yes, Jigsaw, my bag space, it's actually decent on this character. And I think that speaks to how bad the problem is. When decent inventory means I have 6 free spaces. That is just... That puts things into perspective, I guess.
You wish to know what became of Cranach, do you? I thought
Alright, listen to the knowledge of Carn Dum. Okay. I want whoever joins me in the 3-mans to basically play whatever they want, but I suspect with the 3-mans on tier 1 that we could just have 3 DPS characters. The only concern is 2 people, at least last I checked, don't have great gear. I am one of those 2 people. Okay, now this piece of... Oh, I ran the 6-man Sark 4, and I must have run that a few times and just not even bothered to equip the new gear I got, or I'm getting it mixed up with just all this random stuff I had in my inventory. But let me check this character's finesse, and he probably could sadly use the little bit of finesse on the hero's bracelet, which actually has decent itemization otherwise, and the 2800 max morale just makes that 446 bracelet not great if those stats were itemized to something else. So I'm going to replace the potent one for now without looking at that more in depth, just to get something quickly. And otherwise, this is another situation where the Puklok's Den earring that this character has is very good if I want to survive. So like in the healing role, that would be wonderful to have, but this yellow earring would give me more DPS. So if I'm not dying, might as well get more DPS, and we'll bank on not dying. And if I were actually smart, I would manage my inventory first of all, and second of all, I would open like well, this is before the shadow stuff, but I probably have it somewhere on this character to open like the Fate of Gundabad. Yeah, Fate of Gundabad bundle to equip another earring that would match this teal one and be better than both of the other options. Yeah, definitely. And Nathan, if I play DPS, I will definitely be playing Yellow Line today with the update. Yeah, I need a carry-all for the crafting mats. I have a lot of them on another character, but if I played this character regularly, I would definitely send over one of the carry-alls for him to have. The problem is, I'm basically in the middle of an organization period where this character... Okay, so we're having the... the character that was on the champion switching to a captain to tank. Get the tanking practice. So I will be DPSing. Hello, Miss Bella Games. And hello, Nathan, if I didn't already say hello. And Hippocratic Oath as well. And Cheese Spawn? Or Cheese's Pawn? And then Derek, you said you took a break from Elder Scrolls Online, which I still have not played. I was supposed to try that. It was probably about a year-ish ago. Roughly a year ago. I was actually had solid plans to try that, but never got around to it. If they have another free weekend, I really will try to actually make sure I can play during that free period, but who knows. But glad it sounds like you've been enjoying all my LOTRO videos as you've gotten back into it the past couple weeks. Hopefully you're also enjoying LOTRO. Oh yeah, you all want to know this character's pocket item. Actually, this was a huge upgrade, this level 115 piece. That said, I should have a better pocket item. Oh, crafting carryall. I have a crafting carryall on this character, so I actually do already have that on him. Oh, wow. Though, click and gather helped a bit. So much for auto gather. Oh, that was probably because I got stuff in my mail. Oh, hey, this guy has a quest for me to return to Carn Dum. Oh, that actually gives you a little bit, well, 1 currency, but that's still like, there you go, prologue done. That's a short prologue. Maybe I should have actually read that though. I was on autopilot just clicking things. Oops. Yeah, it's the same thing with PetSmart. Usually, oh, there is a milestone here. For this, see, the thing is, I would set my milestone here, and on my Warden, I definitely will, now that I see that that's a thing, except I'll probably get the muster ability after the patch tomorrow. That is one of the changes I remember, is they fixed, is how I'd call it, your ability to barter for the travel skills to not need reputation. Oh, are these account bound? Bind to account on acquire. That is awesome. I did not notice that. I guess they're not really useful. They're useful, but they're not... It's not like you could just get gear on your ults from that. So, I guess that part's slightly unfortunate, but I like that they have a currency like that that's account bound. I'm all in favor of that typically. Also, I don't think the captain is actually in the kin on that character. Yeah. This character's virtues for reference. Oh, actually, I did get these up quite a bit. I guess this character was set to use my next set of virtues. So, okay, I have... Why am I confused about what I have equipped? Oh, fidelity. If I want a defensive boost, I could equip fidelity. Okay. Well, we'll see. The hunter in the group, if y'all cannot see, what was that? Control U hides the user interface, apparently. For anybody that did not know, I've probably run into that at some point. I kind of remember something like that happening, but yeah, usually I just use F12 to hide the UI. Anyway, the hunter in the group disconnected, so I need to spend my clash trait points, because this character, if you cannot tell, the last time I actually logged into him was for one of those starter builds. I did a yellow line Rune Keeper one. I don't know, was that the start of January? If I remember correctly, or end of December, sometime around then, when I had a period where I was pushing out a few of those. So as far as this character's remaining trait points, I think the biggest things would be tactical damage, and then will even up to 30,000. I don't think there are many better options. So I will go ahead and pick that one. And then here it really depends if I want to try to get a few key traits in the red line, which would probably be my best bet. I still have plenty of trait points, so it's not like I have to be very scared about spending them. Mending Verse actually looks like it... Yeah, it's actually not that good. It would give some healing, like if I wanted the flexibility to off-heal a little bit better, I could get Mending Verse and probably the pulse count and the decreased induction. I'm guessing that Power Restore to Prelude to Hope would actually be quite beneficial with the power update. Let's see how much power that restores. Restores 554. So every 1 second. So over 16 seconds, that's more than 8k. That's not a ton. Also, this character actually has a ton of power. I'm guessing with the help of the Fate stat and the yellow line. Yeah, that contributes a ton to power. That's like 30,000 power right there in that single stat, so single trait, so that's pretty handy, I guess. Anyway, as far as actually finally spending my trait points, let me double check everything here. So I thought they changed self-motivation, and maybe reading the patch notes would help with that, but I thought they changed it to where it's a lot less player-friendly. A lot lower quality of life. For some reason, I remember seeing something like that in the notes, and maybe that could have also been something they were doing in beta and reverted, because I know there was a lot of stuff going on with the Rune Keeper during beta. But self-motivation restores either power or morale. If traded to restore morale, the skill gains a power cost. Interesting. So it now actually restores power and doesn't even give a heal. It's kind of... It could be because obviously that nerfs my character, but That doesn't sound like a good change to me. Because I remember one of the really nice things about it was you could just sort of more or less... Oh, I didn't see that Brian got back. Although it looks like he's only half back. I actually can't tell if he's on. Okay, just double checking on that. It's always fun to try to form a group in game while streaming and going on with a whole bunch of other stuff, or having a whole bunch of other stuff going on. Okay, so Essence of Flame, I have in the past kind of not minded getting that to be an AoE, but I'm curious if Fiery Ridicule might be an easier option. Could get that to 3 targets. I think with the damage over time component, do about 60 to 100k, so a little bit less than 80k, maybe 75k would be a better estimate. Yeah, this definitely does more damage, but I don't know trait point wise. I would have to spend 2 more to actually get it to be an AoE. Otherwise, I could just do something simple like fire type damage. It really ultimately doesn't matter, but just having another ability, I suppose, has its uses. But yeah, self-motivation cooldown. At max rank, it can be used with no induction and while moving, so you still have that quality of life. I'm just trying to see that... yes, this is the one. Overflowing confidence. That is the one that gives it a... heal instead of restoring power. And it will now have a power cost. So I'm going to try that. So this will basically be the old... Oh, I would have to get rid of trait points to get my mitigation up. Well, why did it... Oh, if I want to use that on the move. Okay, let's just try this. Got my fire runestone, which I'm curious if I'll notice if it does any sort of decent damage. Or not. I also, for the Elder Scrolls Online, I honestly have no idea what the Elder Scrolls universe. I have not played a game with that. Oops, wrong channel. Okay, so checking on that, we'll have the other person join us back. I would go ahead and start the instance, but I don't want to, like, if I want to see the whole thing from the start, just get it booted up. So maybe something I can do, even in a group like this, is boot up a delving. And while I won't have a very easy way to get back here, conveniently, I have a very easy way to get to a delving location. Gerwin's Convoy. Oh, is that Andrath? I think that's the Andrath camp that's, of course, right next to Bree. Oh yeah, they have a delving, so... delving writs. I believe I've talked about this since their implementation, but... So you all might have heard this a lot. Okay. But yes, with the delving grits, I feel like the in-game economy of those is just, it doesn't make them interesting. And I don't think it does a good job being a currency, unfortunately. Like a lot of currencies, what delving stones do I even have on this character? Well, those aren't delving stones. They look like it. Do I have any? I don't have any. So I have delving emerald retry. But then I'd have to... I don't think I've completed 1 out of 10 quests today. Yeah, I'd have to get a delving emerald. Well, let's try this again. But essentially, the biggest thing with the delving writs is the amount that you get from gear. Like, what I envision being a good number that you get of delving writs when you get a piece of gear in a delving and disenchant it. The number I would have in mind is, let's just look at something like this, for example, is way off of the number they have. So to me, getting a piece of gear is the big, like, reward from doing a delving. Relatively, like, low drop rate. You're not guaranteed to get one every run. I, at this point, honestly forget the exact drop rate or expectations. Was it something about, like, 1 out of every 4 runs? 1 out of every 5, if anybody in chat remembers. But essentially, if you get a piece of gear that is not useful for you, the 15 delving grits get you 1/100th of the way to bartering for a piece of gear. But when I envision a mechanic like this, it's to say you get something you don't want, not useful for your character, or it's a piece you already have, something like that. To me, having a currency like this is basically makeup for the, like, bad luck on your good luck of getting a drop, to where it should only be like a couple disenchanting, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 pieces of gear would give you enough currency to barter for the piece that you want. It could even be something like 4. But that basically shows how far off my idea of a good amount of writs is from theirs, because that would mean that I think you should get at least 10 times as many delving writs, and probably more like 30 or 40 times as many delving writs from a piece of gear, which probably sounds crazy, but that's why I had this huge build-up of what I think would make a good system with that. And honestly, the delvings have not been that bad, even though I ran my fill of them and haven't done them as much lately. The delvings themselves have not been that bad, and I have enjoyed them. I got my fill of them, so I haven't run them as much lately, but yeah, the, like, probably the worst part has been the delving writs portion of it, I suppose. Like, one of my, I don't know what I'm trying to say, most negative experiences with the delvings has been the delving writs and the barter portion of it, and, like, building up towards long-term rewards rather than, like, the sort of short-term, the random drops you can get from each delving. While some of the rewards are a bit funny and it feels odd to spend like 20 whatever minutes, something like that, doing a like old, this is before update 35 and they revamped the tiers, but old version of like tier 10 delving, spend 20 minutes doing that, and then you get like journeyman tier crafting materials. Moments like that were very funny, and obviously didn't feel good to loot that, but like over time I was able to get a decent amount of loot for notably my Warden. All the delvings that I ran, which were not that much on this character, didn't get any gear, and I know people who have not gotten as good of gear or as good of luck as I have with the delving gear. Okay. Looks like they are getting back in. Except they're still loading. Okay, maybe I'll just run a regular mission. This is bothering me. We'll do it non-delving because I'd have to go to a bank and get this character one of the tokens. Or one of the like bags. Wait, can't you buy those from the guy right outside here? Am I that broke that I just can't buy one? Because I remember seeing that from the vendor. You might not actually have to go to the Vault Keeper. But yeah, mini rant aside about Delving Rich specifically, I probably should reiterate that Delvings have been enjoyable. I'm hoping that, well... Okay, they're back. I took so long that they're already back. So it looks like I could get a garnet for my silver. Yeah, I'd have to actually get some money before I do anything. This character is oddly broke. Usually I don't have to worry about gold, but I guess this character was level 50, and I think that has to do with our server transfer a while back. Okay, so quest-wise, Sagroth. Well, that's not helpful. I meant to talk about these instances at the start of the stream, but there's been a lot going on. So overall, I'm relatively mixed opinion on the new instances. I don't think they have been bad, but there's also been nothing about any of the 3 instances that I've run that has been like has any big appeal to me. There's nothing that just makes them stand out compared to other instances in the game where I'm like super excited to run them or think there's some really interesting or fun mechanic going on. I'd say this 3-man has so far been my favorite. I like the environment in it and some of the world building going on with that. It oddly works from a gameplay perspective, because normally something like this I would think is way too cluttered, but most of the clutter is like off the path that you actually travel, so it's not terrible with that. It's just, again, even with an instance like this, there's nothing that is super appealing or just really catches me to make it as exciting as I guess it otherwise could be. Maybe other people find things about this instance, the other 3-man, or even the 6-man that they really like. I will say the last boss of the 6-man being a rat, and okay, maybe a little bit spoilers here, but y'all are watching a Return to Carn Dum content stream, so hopefully you're fine with that. But the 6-man has a twist at the end, but it's done so I think in an interesting storytelling perspective. Well, I should probably use DNF on the hunter and not the captain who has like almost 4 times as much morale. So yeah, I don't know what other people are overall thinking of the new dungeons, but yeah, I don't know. There are a couple things that I would call bad about maybe the 6-man. That's pretty much the only one that has had a particular standout like bad mechanic. And then if y'all saw my video on Thariskar, I think is the name of the other 3-man, the one that's indoors, you all probably saw that I'm not a big fan of the Vile Bile tank, whatever they're called, at the end of the instance. I did find out, thanks to helpful comments, that there is actually a mechanic with that, but it still doesn't make it interesting. But knowing that would probably at least speed it up, I suppose. Alright, so we are having the captain, I believe, in tank spec. Tanking this. I am in yellow line. Let me make sure I have my... Yes. No. Fear... Wait. What? Hold up. I have electric stone. Okay, yeah, that's definitely the lightning stone. That... The stream wasn't supposed to be complaining about random things, but the new LI system, there's so much that's great about it. But the legendary item system, I feel like could just be so much better if you didn't have to carry a different LI for each spec, essentially. I know some classes you can kind of sort of squeeze out just having 3 LIs for 2 specs, but I think in most cases, if you really want to be 100% optimized, you would pretty much need 2 LIs per spec. Again, I think there are some exceptions, and you can pretty much get by with 3. You could even get by with 2, to be honest, for a lot of content in this game, but I have a problem where I want to squeeze the most out of my resources. But yeah, there's just, I don't really have an idea for a mechanic with the current system that they have in game where you could just have one and be flexible with the traceries, or have like a tracery loadout for each one. If it were tied to a panel like this, where you could just go 1, 2, 3, I think that would be helpful, but unfortunately it is not. Actually, I think I mentioned that in a video, but if it were in a panel like this, you had class traits, race traits, virtue traits, and then a legendary traits tab, and then it switched. So it's basically like if you just took the traceries they have right now and put it in something like this, and you went through the specs, it would change which traceries, and then otherwise, like, your enhancement runes could be the ones that actually enhance the level. Speaking of that, ignore my LI's item level. This character is clearly not updated. Also, I'm going to join them on Discord, so I need to mess with my audio a second, or mess with my settings. The audio for you all should be the same, but I need to switch to push to talk and make sure it's actually playing in my headphones. Hello. Oh, I also, okay, I am on push to talk. Need to turn my volume way down so I can turn my volume way up because they are way quiet. Okay. All right, if you all are ready, I think Weir is in tank, so whenever you're ready. Okay, so for tier 1 with this instance, I expect even with poorly geared characters, it shouldn't be the most difficult. I suspect if you're like 3 fresh level 140s, and maybe have some choppy LIs at best and that sort of stuff, it could be a little bit more difficult, but I think it's a good thing that tier 1s are easy. It also means it's decent, assuming the loot table. I don't know too much about that. I could look into it, but I'd rather at least discover a little bit for the first bit of period with this instance. I'm getting static surge procs a lot. I remember, oh wow, 1.3 million with epic conclusion. That's promising. That's a one-shot of these signatures. I am actually noticing like some of the things with the patch notes that I only somewhat remember because the patch notes were so long. I definitely don't remember everything that I read. I actually did read the full thing with the Rune Keeper, but I do remember ceaseless argument cooldown was greatly reduced to 0.3 seconds, so that would be helpful for me at least. But if you all want to just like kind of go through it, that's fine. Here, I can share what I have, see if that works. If I can find these. Where are the quests in the quest log? Special? I shouldn't be special, but who knows. Oh, return to Carn Dum. Okay, here we are. We are in Santalore. I think there's one more it does not have. Alright, looks like they are all shared. Oh yeah, let's see how bad vivid imagery damage is now. 282k. I know this is a random elite mob and a sample size of 1, but that is tiny compared to what it used to be. I think it used to rival even like some of the bigger crits with epic conclusion. Wow, the ceaseless argument change. It's almost like the old version of ceaseless argument when it had no cooldown. It was limited by the for the quests, yes. So Delvin stuff. Sorry it took me a moment to get more to your comment, but you said with if someone was half geared, quit during Goonabad, can they jump at T1? Yes. Definitely wouldn't have to play before the shadow content. It does give you something in between Goonabad and this new content, but it definitely, I think, would be feasible to go straight from Goonabad to this. Before the shadow mainly has the missions which you can do the delvings on, even though you can now do delvings in school and library if you don't have before the shadow. And then it also has the 6-man, which does have some stuff that's actually relevant in Return to Carn Dum, but it's not really a big deal. It's mainly, I think, the actual drop for the necklace can come from Sarkborn. I don't know if that necklace can also drop in those new instances though, so it could be made like completely irrelevant with that. But yeah, I'm really noticing vivid imagery is weaker than it used to be. It makes sense that it's not the highest damage dealing Rune Keeper ability, but boy, it used to be satisfying, and now it's like, I never quite understood, well, I kind of understood, I should say, people calling like weak hitting abilities wet noodles, but I just think noodles are great, so. But yeah, it's not strong. Or it's not as overpowered as it used to be. That is my current observation. Is Ceaseless Argument back to being weaker than Scribe Spark? Like clearly weaker? Looks like it's a tiny bit weaker at baseline, without any sort of buffs or attunement for that matter. I thought at least attunement used to impact Scribe Spark, it could just not be in the tooltip. Yeah, the new LI system, unfortunately, it does lend itself to feeling pay to win, because you can drag it here and ooh, spend mytho coins. Wow, I can purchase all 35 for 70 mytho coins. It definitely, even if it's not intended, gives off that vibe. Oh boy, I talked about this, the clutter not getting in the way of the content, but it definitely is here. Let me, I don't know where the captain is. Wait, oh, getting tossed by the roots, okay. Hefty enough on you, weird. I think you should be able to retreat. Somehow still alive. Wait, this restores morale now? I think I'm just pulling more mobs from my group though. Let's see. I'm gonna try to get a bubble on the captain. There we go. Okay, definitely gonna use this for me now. And then if I can get an epic for the ages, nope. Oh, epic for the ages. Oh, I did get the runestone. Perfect. Oh, I probably should have got myself the town services, but ooh well. Oh, probably shouldn't have used my runestone. They were already stunned. Maybe one of the runestone ticks can stun them again though. Okay, let's get this priest down. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately these trolls. We pulled, I think, like, probably 5 groups at once there on accident. So I actually feel like we're handling it reasonably well. Imagine if I actually used my cooldowns to try to help. Return to Carn Dum is not a rescale of the original raid or instances, it's all brand new content that just happens to be set in Carn Dum. Oh yeah, you can't see the puddles on the ground, can you? Like a little red box. Ah, yeah, there is one right there. Not much you can do if you can't see them. I'm noticing Epic Conclusion isn't really proccing, or it's just not giving me the visual indication. Yeah, it's not giving the old visual indication that it's procced, which is kind of annoying. Especially considering it was previously a feature. If that was never a thing in game, and then update 35, it's like they took away the visual indicator of the proc. I'm guessing that is a bug. At least I hope they're not intending for that to be the way it is, because it just means you have to pay better attention to your buffs, which if you had a plugin would be easier. I know I've promised this before, but stay tuned. Diablo 4, I personally don't have much interest in that game, but I thought it came out like today or yesterday, or yeah, maybe it's beta that was out. Not today, but I know people are playing like yesterday or 2 days ago the beta, which it wouldn't make sense for the full game to be out if that was the case. Alright, I think we're somewhat settled. We'll give the Hunter a Dina. Get me Shire rations. Wow. Yep. Beta weekend. Doesn't come out till June. Wow, that is far off.
You don't belong to the garden.
Maybe I'll actually be able to see if there are any mechanics for this boss fight. Maybe. Okay, so I think this is the buff I want, yes. Concession rebuttal is 1 second cooldown, okay. We'll just be a noob and wait for that. I'll take 1.4 million hit. Except when it gives me aggro. I guess I could have focused the elite first. I was just kind of assuming that AoEs would sort of get him while we focused on the elite master. I don't know what it is with the way that I'm standing, but my foot's going tingly.
What has happened to this giant? It looks nothing like the Yortkin I have encountered before.
Great loot. We all got an enhancement rune. I assume gear can drop. People have had gear drop, but I have seen 2 pieces of gear drop. Both of them were from the first boss of the 6-man. I have not actually seen a piece of gear drop from one of the 3-mans. I have seen other people get a piece of gear from the 1-man version, the solo version, that is. It's gonna take a good minute to get used to vivid imagery not being like something I necessarily want to use every single fight as high priority. Big damage. I will say, it seems like, did they buff the damage of shocking words, or they do that in a previous update as well? Let's see, shocking words. Oh yeah, concession or rebuttal causes it to become an AoE. That's kind of fun. I gotta say, this new Rune Keeper feel, cannot tell, I'm feeling like it's more balanced, even if it requires me to adjust to. It is feeling more balanced. It's, yeah, quest items. But yeah, let's get secondy enough. Keep those rotating while I can. 6 out of 8. But we should run into plenty more. Actually, I have to turn somebody down on Discord for once. Usually I have them at 200%. Usually they're the quietest, but I think they're in a slightly different area. Guess that was going to be me. Didn't throw man to the water. Alright, I gotta ask you all if you have either played the new Rune Keeper or yellow, lighting, okay, or if you have, just from what you have seen today, if you think it's better than the previous or worse, or I guess we can do the same, although that's a more boring option. I hope the same doesn't win. But yeah, that's actually interesting seeing tier 1 of an instance like this compared to just sort of plowing through it with a character like my Warden would, because felt similar speed running through this solo. The full 3-man version, I do mean to be specific. Oh yeah, I think Scribe Spark also builds more attunement now. That was another one of the changes. So it builds 2. Vivid Imagery builds 3. I think at one point they had it consuming or returning you towards neutral. That works. Yeah, we're I think at this point pretty much just waiting for procs to use Epic Conclusion. It just feels so bad to use Epic Conclusion without the concession and rebuttal. That's what or closing remarks. That's what I'm talking about with the proc. Concession and rebuttal is the cooldown ability. I could probably skip this group, but I think it is safer to just deal with them. Man, that's the thing with an RNG system like closing remarks and whatever traits build up towards it. I can double check. I have Furious Storm 1, but otherwise, it's been a long while since I've gotten that. if you all can see, if you're on a tiny screen, probably very hard to see, but closing remarks, this is what the icon looks like. And you basically get harsh debate and thunderous words, and I think when you get both of those, that's when they combine. Yeah, when both buffs become active. This also increases the proc chance of both of them. So that seems out of the ordinary that I'll go both of those fights without getting either of them. But there we go, finally got it. It is also possible they made some changes. Maybe I should read the patch notes, because I have noticed there are some things with the other classes that got updated where the notes or the tooltips for them in game are not actually adjusted to the actual effects of like whatever they are, trait, ability. Just the tooltips haven't been updated or properly reflect what they actually do now in update 35. Yeah, I forgot the point, but yes, that should be something that I could consider checking. Okay, so look over to the poll, and of course the same is winning. I really shouldn't have expected anything else. Okay, I'm actually fixing my Discord window there. Yeah. I will point out there's a Fester file over there, which I think is used for Deed if y'all have not gotten it. Yeah, if we want to get that, that's just over here and to the left. We'll probably have to fight the group, but so far I can sneak in. Okay, so Bella, though, for you, with the... It looks like I missed a couple extra messages, but with you said you didn't notice much difference. Okay. Oops. I guess I didn't need to pull these mobs. Yeah, I think there's another one somewhere here. Sorry about pulling him. I haven't gotten too used to it on my Warden. Yeah, that is true. Looks like my stream is dropping frames again. If y'all are wondering, one of the reasons I was an extra, got a few minutes late by the time this got started, is my internet was not behaving. So hopefully this is just a little blip in the connection. Should probably attack the priestess first. That was a nice force taunt. Okay, we're gonna try the AoE, whatever this ability is called. Nice, that was pretty satisfying. I like that change. Partially just to have an extra AoE. 1.5 million. I'm not used to seeing that big of numbers. Of course, playing, as you all know, on the Warden, a lot of the damage is in damage over time. And the new burst damage options they have aren't the strongest, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it just means that, yeah. Okay. I think I can stun these guys in time. Apparently not. Alright, for the boss there, if we can get corruption removals on her, that would be helpful. We can of course deal with the ads, but it just means that she heals in the meantime. Oh, that's not great. I probably should have been healing instead of talking. My bad. I feel like I should have been able to do stuff to maybe not necessarily like fully save the fight, but I could have done stuff to help there. Well, I'm going in with damaged armor. It looks like only my gloves are still broken, so I guess that's good. Only one piece of fully broken armor. Let's go ahead and put one DNF on. Thank you, I like this stylish wizard outfit. It's, yeah, this is my Rune Keeper, or actually, wait. Yes, this character has been on, no, hold up. Who is this character? Okay, he's from Arkenstone. I think. I'm slightly confused. No, this... Well, where's this character from? He can't have been on Langeval unless I transferred him off. But anyway, this Rune Keeper, it's like one of my earlier YouTube series before I actually did commentaries, that I had these outfits on him basically, and this is when I entered Moria. But I think in the titles I can do like of for the server, right? Or is that not a thing? Maybe that's not a thing. Oh well. I think World Consolidation title, if I use one of those. Oh, looks like we're good to use this. It's just, there we go. And that should deal with the soldier. Basically, I think with the dot of epic conclusion, looks like that's crit ticking for like 130k. Oh, those were just the ads. But yeah, it's fun getting mixed up where character came from was very wrong, maybe. Good stuff. Also, I wasn't paying attention to my buffs, but fortunately that was okay there. Got one corruption removed. Unfortunately, I'm not playing a Warden, so I can't remove as many corruptions as I otherwise would be able to. Also, there's floating names. These guys are just so tall and me staring at the ground ain't helpful to actually see their name. Let me make sure I'm healed up. Also, it's just weird to self-motivation of a short cooldown now. Maybe it always had that short of a cooldown, but I just didn't use it very frequently. This is a winter decent AoE. Glad it still is. Unfortunately, the boss... Oh, wow. I need to pay attention to the captain's hall. Like, my primary goal is to, of course, deal damage, but I can also, like, heal. These are just the venom caps. I'm going to try to get this down and then stay away. Oh, no. She doesn't have the corruption yet, but she was already in her absorb phase. I think I got a res on the hunter. Been a tad bit of trouble targeting there. Okay, hopefully I can walk up here safely. Don't want to get caught in frontal AoEs though. Yeah, it looks like she only goes through her little healing phase so many times, or have like so many sets of ads. I'm sure it's worse on higher tiers, but oh no, she's going through it again. Okay, I got one corruption removal, and I got a big explosion of lightning. Hello, Rift Mugos. He said Rune Keeper definitely needs some love. Yeah. You know, I could agree with the Rune Keeper. I think I made a video. Wait, did I include the Rune Keeper in that video? Also, I did not mean to use concession rebuttal. That was a bad move there. It's not like a terrible move, but it still expires when out of combat. Okay, I didn't even get any use out of it basically, but there we go. Give a res to the hunter. Yes, Guardian I think could also use some love. Yep, got it. And Cat is awake. Other cat. She's awake. Yeah, I forgot they changed that so it has an induction and doesn't like res 2 people since there's that trait doesn't exist anymore. Oh yeah. Hey, at least Gorilla, you got a Delver's or Essence box. That's I think the best loot I've seen from these so far. Hey, Black Ice 1092 and Robbie the Picked. So Robbie, he said you tried to solo this with your captain. It didn't end well. Oh no. Were you running the solo version or like trying the 3-man version solo? Oh. That's strange. Also, reward track. If anybody's curious, I'm like on level 10. Whatever I've done since the update, pretty much. Yep. Yep, if you are up for it, I'm planning on trying the other 3-man as well. Did we ever do this? Nope. Let's see. That's Tharaskar. I only have 2 as well. Tier 1, 3-man. Okay, so yeah, the mechanics might take a moment to get used to, because I don't think I've actually run that one, the solo version. If it's like this instance, then it is, as far as I can tell, bugged, but I don't know if it is like this one. But for Tharaskar, you are, I think on the duo version, you get a summoning horn for an ally, but not on the solo version. And there are like elite mobs and all the such.
Thought to be lost after a disastrous experiment claimed Anaya Khan's life. No.
There should be a huge carry-all, like a 500 slot carry-all. That would solve, I don't know, might free up a couple spots in my inventory.
Believe his end to be a failure or a true testament to his achievements.
What? Both of these cats.
Right. I'll go find a safe spot to hide. Once you've cleared the path, I shall rejoin you.
Competition for the bed. I got Piper out of the bed and Lexi went straight for it. Unfortunately, that means the cat cam is blink-ish. Okay. Looks like we're ready to go. Infinite carry-all. That would be a good change, good addition to the game. We'll see running this one, the 3-man version with this group, how it will compare. I mean, it was the same thing with the Poison Garden, but now after running the Poison Garden, I'm like extra curious. Wait, Elder Scrolls Online has an infinite carry-all type thing? Or is that like, does it have, I'm trying to think of what other games have that, but like just infinite crafting storage essentially? That you can use account-wide would be very convenient. That's like if they were able to, with LOTRO being archaic has a very bad connotation, but LOTRO being an old game, there is the concern if there's like the technical capability for them to do an account-wide infinite crafting storage that you can use like wherever, whenever. On any character. That would be huge. Huge addition. Like, very welcome if they were able to do that in the crafting room. Oh! Looks like I pulled some stuff. Bring it just a tad too far. Usually when I pull stuff, it's intentional. I don't think anybody would ever believe I pull something on accident when I'm in a group with them. Lost my buff. Maybe I should have just pulled this go. See, I use up a conclusion anyway when I shouldn't have. But yeah, I was gonna say maybe I should have just pulled in one-shot him. But yeah, for the Rune Keeper, thinking about that again, somebody brought that up earlier. Yes, it was Rift Magos. The thing with Rune Keeper that I really feel like could use an update is the red line. It just hasn't been as exciting for me lately. Like, normally, if I were playing the game and doing group content, that would finally be like, I'd be very excited because that would be a good opportunity to make good use out of the red line. But in an instance like this, I'd rather play the yellow line, even if the red line does more damage. I just have more fun on the yellow line, and I feel like appreciate the mobility, especially. Right. Yep. Sounds like we have the people in the group taking a AFK here. But yeah, it's just, I haven't been excited to play Redline Rune Keeper lately. Lately as in the past, I don't know, like 2-3 years at this point. When was the last time I really wanted to play Redline Rune Keeper? I tried it again in Sark Vorn when update 34, before the Shadow. This character, this is the first time in a while I've actually played an alt with in-game content. Partially in help with the class trait revamp, the LI revamp, and having a... I guess the cat did a good job tracking that, but there was some sort of bug. I think it fell on the floor. I don't know where. It could have been a gnat, but I couldn't quite tell. So yeah, Piper, the cat that like noticed the bug and started like just sniffing there and being funky, like she was hunting something. She's the one that noticed it, but now she's like rubbing against my gloves like they have the best scent ever, which they do not. I imagine at least. But she sure likes it. Welcome back. For me, like a rework of the red line, I think a little bit of change to the abilities and gameplay would be helpful, but also animation updates I think could be useful. I mean, always happy to have better animations in the game. I'll go ahead and hit the lever. This is like the, so for this instance, again, my experience so far in it at least, as I covered in the video yesterday, 2 days ago, the instance isn't bad, but there are a couple particular things that made my first run through, I think, left me with a more negative experience than like what repeatedly running the instance will. If you're interested in more beyond that, I think the video covered it pretty well, which by the way was an experimental video and people seem to overall like it. I think with the way the video was, I did notice a couple comments with people being, I guess, a bit confused, which was not to blame the viewers, of course, but I think just the way I did the video wasn't entirely clear what was going on with it. Here we are headed back. There you are. But yeah, the big things are with the cauldron coming up, that it was just a big letdown of the actual mechanic for that. Instead of being something that like, because I was searching around the room actually trying to discover what it was, the mechanic for the cauldrons. But it was ultimately like, just read the note, and there you go. Which I think for repeated runs, the like ease of that or quickness of that is good, but when I was going, you know, a bit slower with the first run and actually trying to enjoy or pay attention more to the mechanics, that I think is a bit why on that being like leaning towards a letdown. And then of course the last bosses we'll get to. Jorday, you said you just grinded Epic Volume 3, great company things. I think that is that like Anadoy starting Isengard, like Rise of Isengard content? Pretty fun times. And you see me online to go asleep. I don't know, maybe I can help with that. There's the now famous comment maybe, one of my old videos that my voice can cure insomnia. I don't know if that's related to insomnia. I think, wait, yeah, that's a quest item. Never mind. Oops. Don't y'all love bile? Or, better yet, a pile of files of bile. Oh yeah, so I was just talking about the last video. So essentially, I think some people were confused on the purpose of the video, which I don't blame the viewers for that. The people that were confused, that means I did a bad job explaining the concept of the video, but it was mainly intended as like a, the way I intended it was to be a fun, quick video on just my first impressions. So reviewing the content I did, but just based on my first run, and in particular reviewing the run itself. So I talked about things that I liked, things I didn't like with the instance, just as like stuff came up. And I also think it could have been the way the video was paced, but there was I think a couple people actually commented that they thought I rushed through the instance, which I did not feel like. I actually felt like I was going slower and taking my time, which almost was one of the roots of one of the problems. That by going slower, that made specifically the cauldron mechanic more of a letdown than it was. And the last part of the last boss, it is true that I missed a mechanic, which is completely fine. But I think one of the reasons I missed it is because it was such a boring mechanic. And still, like, knowing the actual mechanic with it and intended way for you to go about that last part of the last fight, I still don't think it's particularly fun. Perhaps we'll see if it's a little bit different today, but I think those were the big things from that last video. Otherwise, seemed to be fairly well received. Otherwise, like, not overly negatively received. If you all want, I can check the notes for the cauldron and go ahead and get that going. Yeah, so there is a note, if you do want to look for a future reference. There is a note on this side, and if you right click it and read it, it will tell you the order to go through them. Yes, any of them. Any of them should work, at least. So one of the orders? I have heard some people say something like that. But yeah, I'll go ahead and go through. I haven't had it not work ever. Looks like we might have already had some clicked, but that's okay. Looks like we've had a bunch of them clicked. It could even have been me clicking it. Alright. Scythe spew. Yeah, I have seen some people comment that, like, having trouble getting it working. I'll see if this, I think that was left over from some of them maybe being clicked, but... And then Stricken Steep should be the last one. Okay, looks like it worked. At least this time I just tried the one on top. But yeah, I fixed the volume on Discord if you were hearing that come through my headphones to the microphone. Yep, so that's what happens when the cauldrons do work. So that'll be after we clear out these rooms and get the quest items, we'll head that way. And that worm thought it could hide in the corner. Free-to-play transmog for Guardian, besides the Mirkwood set. I like the one from the Tower of Orthanc camp, or the... I think it technically is Tower of Orthanc, but it's like Ox Clan. You take a horse there, you just right-click the horse and it'll port you to the Tower of Orthanc camp. In Galatrav, I believe it's somewhat near the Stable Master. There is a set, I think you can just barter for it straight up for like Mercs and Medallions. I kind of like that one for Guardian. I have that on my Guardian. I think it's that one. I hope so. There's also the, I kind of like the just regular Isengard one. There's a set of armor you could barter for from straight from the... I have no idea what's wrong with this goblin. But I think even the one just from Galatrav, it'll require a bit of Marks and Medallions, which you might not have, but that's another one that I like. There's also the Officer set, which is crafted level like 56 armor. Depending how you die, that could be good. I kind of like it. Oh, well, I've got another Essence box. I'm striking out on the loot. That's three chests. 0 loot. I wouldn't consider the enhancement rune and 3 barter currencies loot because that's like default loot. Yellow Line Stout Axe Dwarf Rune Keeper is fantastic. That's actually interesting because I think most people at Stout Axe tend to go fire. I think partially because of the fire trait, but also because it's like you're from Mordor, you're from the land of fire, essentially. That's what I tried with my Stout Axe Rune Keeper. I don't like playing dwarves despite me having Warden. That's like my one push to actually play a dwarf has actually been Warden. I tried a dwarf brawler just to try one again, but it hasn't really worked too well. I think the problem with Brawler, just besides me not liking the class fantasy all that much, is it doesn't work with an elf that well either to me. Like, I would play an elf Brawler, but it's basically the one class that I would not immediately want to play a high elf of. Just wait till the high elf Corsair. For anybody curious, with Corsair, just to clarify, that will not be the name of the new class, but it's probably basically going to be a Corsair with a slightly different, perhaps friendlier, more of a free people's type name. That is really satisfying. It's really satisfying having the AoE shocking words. It's just, that's a 3-minute cooldown ability. Basically get 1 shocking words out of that, it seems. I think dailies is pretty much the method for Lothorian instance, or Lothorian reputation. It is possible that the Lothorian instances give reputation, but that'd still be like a repeatable daily content. Lothorian is one of the times I would recommend if you have reputation acceleration tomes, which you might not. I don't think you can get those from the skirmish camp anymore, can you? Or are they bound to your character if you do? Or do they just completely remove them? I kind of forget. But I have a bunch of them saved up from that, because I remember there was stuff going on that people were happy about with it. And yeah, the point is that Lothorian rep could definitely be a good time to use those if you have them. I do like the epic conclusion is like pretty consistently actually strong now. It's like a lot more epic, as it should be.
By those things.
Oh yeah.
Love to play with new things.
Hey there, TK Best. Alright, let's see. I'll get this bile tank. Also, it was not time to use. Oh, that's bad. That didn't end well. Oh, I got hit with a frontal AoE and a 400k attack. That was rough. I hope DNF was still up. Okay, good. DNF was still up. Yikes. Maybe we should focus on the back guy first. Possible we need to focus on the back boss first. Because at least he's the one that, yeah, one-shot me and Bran, presumably. Oh, it's just a straight one-shot. Well, I definitely think the other 3-man you could do with. So there's the other guy that's shouting like, "I will help you, brother," in the back that you cannot actually reach. So you have to destroy the bile tank that he's near, and that will damage him. But he's, I think you have to do it a few times, but he's, yeah, the one doing the one-shot. So yeah, it's possible that this instance, unlike the previous one, running in with a group of poorly geared, yes, but I have to leave and come back because my armor's broken and I don't have the town services. Mirkwood was fun. Eventually I plan to quest there again. But I think I've talked about this in like the Before the Shadow video maybe, that I just haven't felt like low level content like I used to. After, I feel like partially with Nor and, what was it, 2021? 2022? 2022, they had all the low level content added to the game that I just like, I haven't felt like doing just leveling characters lately, it seems. Which is great for when update 35 comes out, because I actually am more interested in doing end-game content, group content like this. Oh yeah, I have all 12, I believe. No, actually I have 11 too. There, yep. Oh yeah, deeds. That would be helpful, Robbie. For the Lothlorian reputation. Although I'm guessing if you did all of the quests, it is likely that you've done a lot of the deeds. Go ahead and put DNF on. Although maybe I should put it on the Hunter, I keep saying that. One time I think I actually did. This character is pretty close to not being bad. I think if this instances actually decide to drop some loot for me, he could quickly get up decently. I guess for a boss like this, that would be the perfect time for me to equip. I think I need finesse still. Yeah, finesse is good. So probably get rid of Will. Just double checking because it's been a while since I've looked actually at a tactical class, but yes, definitely wisdom. Also traceries, like it really is crazy the difference that traceries make. If I'm thinking about like longer term for a character, gear is temporary, gear gets replaced, but traceries, like even just upgrading this to the level 131 version and enhancement runes, I'm thinking that would almost triple its stats if I got it all the way up to 485. But that is just like rough estimate based on remembering. Oh, whoa, whoa. Bad time to press a Warden keybind. Yes, loyalty is one of the, if not the most efficient virtue, but it also just provides vitality as a straight good stat. Yeah, the boss in the back will just, I think, randomly toss out attacks. It might be possible that, like, right now I'm hiding behind the bone piles, that those would block it. Actually, I still got hit. Dude's acting awfully suspicious back there. I think he's doing another one. But yeah, loyalty just very efficient virtue that provides good stats that's universally useful. If anybody is curious, one way to evaluate the effectiveness of virtues, while I am down here not really doing anything, is the essence value. I think that's the way a lot of people evaluate stats, is how many essences worth of stats does it give? And that just gives like some reference point to give like the relative amount of value, because virtues, stats on various things don't scale consistently in LOTRO. So like the relative amount of vitality on loyalty is very huge compared to the relative amount of, say, morale on honor. Even if we look at a character like a Rune Keeper that doesn't get the most morale out of vitality, it's still 4, I believe. Yeah, 4 morale, it looks like, per point of vitality. That's still 48,000 morale. On top of the armor, is not necessarily the most useful. That's actually not even a great amount, but that gives 28.5k physical mitigation, which is, do I have a character, or not do I have a character, but do I have a virtue with that on this character up? Does not look like it, but for tactical mitigation, that's still like significantly less. And then third, it gives incoming healing, which is, that's like 1.2%. So it's a tiny bit, but it's another thing that does help for defense. I imagine that's generally better if you're a tank and it's a stat you care about more, but it's like, as with any defensive stat, universally useful. Morello might have this. It's entirely possible. Might take a minute, even with the buffed captain damage being in tank spec. It's not like you expect them to do just massive damage now in tank spec. a video of how to navigate Dale. It took a minute to get used to Dale, but after actually being there a while, I did. Yeah, we did better that time, but obviously both Brain and my health are a tad bit low. So it's kind of tough when he just one-shots us. We did get closer though. I think the boss in the back was about halfway down. Yeah. It looks like she does her attack on everybody. But again, it could be. I'll try to be better about this, but seeing it fighting behind the bone pile impacts it as much. Or impacts it at all. We'll see. Maybe hiding behind the bone pile will be what we need. So, George, for you playing a burglar, you were kind of surprised how well you did. It actually fell off so hard, like so slow clearing. It's been a long time since I played a mid-level burglar. I just know high-level burglar pretty strong. That could be slightly outdated, to be honest. It has been a minute since I have actually played my high-level burglar, and I know they have done some updates to it. But yeah, and then low to mid-level, like 30 to 40, damage is quite high at that point, but I'd consider that low level in LOTRO now. But technically, you could argue that anything 2 to 139 is mid-level. That's all like... Yeah, it didn't seem to help. I do like that in the 3-man version, though, that this is actually a bit more of an interesting mechanic. Oh, that was close. Oh, that's probably gonna get me. Well, no, I got healed up quite a bit. That's gonna be very close to getting me. Wait, never mind. I thought I got voice lines mixed up there. We might get through this. Okay, I'm about to get hit. Oh, he's moving. And he's moving far left. I believe he has one more. Whew. That was oddly intense. Yes, LOTRO, I definitely think it is more fun to be a casual Or like go through, even with endgame content, even if you like play a lot, I definitely prefer a casual approach to endgame content. Yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of, even this character at like 600,000 I consider to be a bit low. It's, yeah, kind of need a lot at this point, it seems. I think if you can run, like, if we actually get good loot to drop, if you can run stuff like this, eventually you should get some decent armor though, hopefully. There is an armor drop, 1 out of 4 chests. Got a 480 purple piece, which would, I imagine, be a huge upgrade for the hunter. Yeah, they have 131 members. Yes, for this one, yep. Yep, thanks for joining. Oh yeah, glad you were able to join. Hopefully got some improvements for your character. A lot of people seem to like Yellow Line Guardian. And I say it that way just because, you know, it used to be at one point my favorite Guardian spec before I really dove into the red line more and started enjoying that. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that is for, that basically tells you what order, when we got to the cauldrons, what order to click them. So when we're done, you don't really need those anymore. Oh wow, it's kind of late, 9:55. That means I actually wasn't sure if I'd even get this stream up to 2 hours. I wasn't even sure what I'd be doing today, but got face of the cat, but probably blocked by Piper, but she just had a silly face. But yeah, now I don't know what to do next. Oh yeah, so we can do, I wonder how much gold. Oh, actually I did get a decent bit of gold from that. It's normally something I absolutely do not care about, but I guess it's good to see that, to just like running that. Hey, I got some gold. Enough for, I think enough for what this character needs. So I do want to try a delving, just because this would be my first one with a new system. I would love to do a tier 10 delving, but it looks like it's probably best if I start with tier 7. I think going in the lower end of that medium high bracket would be best. Great, I'm going to drop the group to run a delving. Weir, I suppose if you wanted to join, you can feel free to, but I'm probably not going to run that many. Figured I'd offer if they wanted to. Alright, I have currently a, like, one of the new gyms for tier 7 through 9. So I was just basically planning on testing out how the changes work. Yeah, if you want to, I'd be happy to have you help this character. I'm not sure how long he would last on that. Do you want to meet perhaps at would Hearn work? Alright. Alright, sounds good. See you later, Bran. So I do not spend time in housing in LOTRO. I would if I had the time to spend time in housing in LOTRO, I probably would, but generally when I play the game, when I have the time to play the game, I tend to prioritize other things. Also, as much as I was hoping that same, I just shouldn't have put that as an option. As much as I was hoping same would get 0% of the votes for the Rune Keeper poll, oh man, just as I was talking about, I was like, there are 0% of people who think it's worse, but now there's 4% of people, so one person voted worse. But, yeah. So far, I actually do like it better, even if it's kind of like the yellow line Warden changes. I was like, you know, there's a lot of good stuff for the Warden as a whole, but there are some things I really miss from the old yellow line that are not here today. Leadership direction. That one sounds scary. Fortune smiles on us, Louis 7. That's weird seeing my character name from like the quest text where it just puts your character name there by having it be Louis 7. Oh. Did you want to just start with the top one?
Might you spare a moment of your time? Mind my words, traveler. Will you lend me your ear?
Yeah, I honestly don't remember how easy or hard these are from the name. Yeah, I think the last time I really ran one of these was probably closer to the before the Shadow release, maybe even back in like December. Oh, this one, that's what I did recognize the name for this one. Okay, I should have a Delmig Emerald. Alright, I will try tier 7 just to see how it goes. Alright, see you, Brain. Suppose we can go this way. I think you can go either way in this mission. But which mage class is more fun? Lore Master or Rune Keeper? So that's an interesting thing. If y'all have not heard the story, back during the launch period of the game, like back when free trials existed and such, I did a free trial and decided, hey, I'd make a Lore Master to see if I like this game. It turns out Lore Master was a really bad choice because I expected it to be like a mage in World of Warcraft basically, and they had pets, so that was another thing to make it really exciting. A mage with pets was the way I expected the class to go. That's not to say the Lore Master is or was bad, but it contrasted my expectations and the general slowness of LOTRO gameplay. Like, even though it's a classic MMO, the things with the skill timing being based on skill animation, it's basically instead of global cooldown system, that made it... Can't even see the mechanics were killing them so fast, which I guess is good. Minus 50% incoming tactical damage. They're still getting more or less shredded. That could have been 160k crit, I think. Oh, tier 7's not too bad, it seems. At least whatever affixes, malices they got going on today. I'm not intending on that, but I'll take it. Yeah, the corruption, okay, it's kind of noticeable, which is good. It just, like, seems like this corruption, minus 50% incoming tactical damage, is really targeted against tactical classes. Okay, let me actually read this debuff, see what's going on here. Creeping Doom. So that one's going to stun me on whatever. End of duration, I think. I don't want to use my corruption removal on a mob that's like this close to dead, so I'll save it for a fresh soldier like this guy. I just remember in the beta, I went straight into a tier. I think that when I went into the beta, that was before the Delvings update was implemented. If I remember correctly, I could be just totally off on that. But I went into the max difficulty Delving, I'll put it that way, of school at the Myrdain, and every time I went in, my Warden was basically one shot. That was even when they had the bugged Persevere that healed for 10 times as much as it should, so it was basically an instant. Well, maybe not instant, but over like the 6-second duration, it'd be a full heal. It was kind of broken in a fun way, but in an unbalanced way as well. Okay, it looks like, as far as I know, that camp and the middle one are the only options, but I could be getting it mixed up with another Delving. Yep. I know it's a strange concept for me, but I would play that fight the safe way. But anyway, yeah, the Warden got completely smushed in that. Some things I haven't noticed about the old delving system that I'm hoping are maybe fixed with the Delvings revamp is, I don't know, there are certain mechanics that just didn't really feel counterable, or at least had, yeah, no counterplay, but also, I don't know, weren't, I don't know, the most fun or engaging. I realized in the middle of this, perhaps clearly, I'm actually have no idea quite how to describe it, but yeah. I haven't even talked about the new 6-man yet. I don't know if we'll get to that. Oh, yeah, let's deal with that. Oh, I was too far away for my interrupt, apparently. I didn't think it had that short of a range. I might have hit the wrong keybind. I'm also interested to see if the gear has changed at all. Like what the old tier 7 would give max gear, basically. I think it might be like 1 item level higher or 2. There's probably some RNG element there that I just never ended up seeing. But yeah, curious what the loot is for this, if I can even ever see. We got a box of crafting materials. They did change this, so you can actually choose which you would get. So you can choose that for any tier through Gundabad crafting, so that's great. Okay, so we got a Delving Emerald for that. Looks like we still did get a Cracked Emerald. I thought they went away with that system. Or is that the old one that I have? Once had greater value, now it is only coin. Okay, that's what it is. If you wanted to do any more, I would.
What do you need?
I'd be fine just running the 3 of these. Alright. Okay, sounds like we'll try the 3 of these. This one looks scary though. Oh, they changed this to the Tharbad ones, it looks like. Because they consolidated the camps, so I think there are only 3 places with missions now. Oh, this one's like super quick to get done, assuming you can survive. Try to target this guy, give him a hit, then he'll get the corruption. And I can do this, then this, then this. Very descriptive, I know, but with all these thises, eventually this guy will be dead. I wonder in this mission if you actually have to defeat all these, or if you can just run to the end and that will count the investigate. I forget what's at the end, but I think you just literally have to get to the end. But it might involve, yes, killing all the mobs along the way. Also, this debuff, that I think is a yellow line Rune Keeper thing. I would guess it is charged, but what did it do? Increase incoming damage? I looked at it so long that I forgot what it actually did. I think you might be immune to that stun. Looks like it. There's another debuff here, and it's gone by the time I can look at it. That means I did a good job removing it, but if I'm trying to actually see what any of these mechanics are, that's like... yeah. Oh yeah, so for the mage classes, so I talked about Lore Master. So yes, Rune Keeper fills the role of mage class a lot better to me. Of course, at the time, the Rune Keeper wasn't even in the game, and then when I tried LOTRO again after a long while, Rune Keeper was my main class until not even until I tried Warden. It took me a while to really like the Warden, but when I got it, like, when my Rune Keeper hit Moria, I was just like playing other characters and I kept with the Warden. And eventually that character actually became my favorite. Easy peasy. Did I? Oh, I did do the Delving Emerald good. I was like, did I even start the Delving? But I did, so we're saved.
Megovanen. How can I be of service?
Oh, hey. So it looks like... oops. It looks like tier 7 you can still get the teal 470 gear, so that's exciting. Seems to be decently easier. I imagine it's at least a lower drop rate, but that's I'm just excited to get that. That for this character is a pretty sizable upgrade, especially if I'm not interested in the outgoing healing, which I'm only like half interested in. But like even then, I'd prefer this teal piece. As far as equipping it without any essences, I still think I'd rather it, although it's closer, I will say. But yeah, if I get a couple, even more or less not great essences, something like this, if I just get a couple of these with, if I want survivability, I would go Vitality, but Tactical Mastery would be a better stat at this point. So, like, just to have something, I'll put that in there. Apparently I already had 2 of those though, so I didn't even need to open that box, but oh well. Okay, this one's just defeat brigands. This one looks different. I feel like I remember this mission, but it looks different to me. Sauron's Ire. Oh, didn't get to see that. Or maybe I did. We'll never know. But yeah, I think being able to run these on tier 7 is obviously easier, and having a second person here really is helpful, especially at Captain, all the useful support they provide. I think they are playing blue line, it looks like. It could still be in yellow though, but it looks like blue line. It's yeah, it makes the surviving component, I'm like not really having to worry about that, whereas if I were running this tier 7 solo, I probably would have to worry about it a little bit more. But I really think it might take a while and feel a bit repetitive, but I still think that a good way to just start gearing up a character is to just run Delvings. I think even for the barters, for the mission barter itself, there were some like moderately useful looking pieces that's probably better than what you'd have as like a fresh leveled character. So based on my brief preview here, it does seem like this would still be a good option, which is basically what I did with my Warden. And tier 7 missions were the most efficient because they were much faster than tier 10 for pretty similar loot overall, like when it came down to it. But really, I guess the next thing for me to test with Delvings is going to be school and library and actually getting a group for them. And if I were to, I'd of course want to try that on tier 12, just sort of see what happens. I'd want to do that on my Warden, of course. Guess that's it. Sand and snow, 2 hours late. It is better late than never. That's kind of like my streams. Often late. See, I'm not a wizard. That's the problem. A wizard? Sure, they always arrive when precisely when they mean to. Despite this character's appearances, I am not a wizard, so I am just straight up late a lot. At least today, I had the excuse of my internet deciding to be bad right when I was going to start the stream. Crazy Taxi. That is a game, but have I seen that character before? It looks like for me, since that was the first time I did the spirits one, I have troubled waters. If you have access to that one, I'll start that up as well. Oh man, I was hoping another piece of gear, but nope. Crafting materials again, that's like, gonna create F hides. Can get Gundabad hides. Sure, I'll go ahead and just get Gundabad hides. Oh, this character's not up there though. Was this character going to be my main tailor? I forget. With the crafting revamp, it probably won't matter as much, but I think I would like to transition this one to be that. Okay, I cannot target the F10. There we go. Tier 7. Okay, we have the other guy in the back. I think there's just one of them back there in combat with us. No, that one is as well. Oh man, they both have corruptions removed. Oh, he has 2 corruptions. One of them is reflect damage. Nice. Nice in a bad way, but nice for him is what I meant. Oh good, I still had that. I wasn't actually entirely sure with all the visuals going on if I still had concession or rebuttal up, but that was a good AoE shocking words, I have to admit. let's stun the guys nearby, although it might not be stunnable after the shocking words. Honestly, I have no idea how we pulled this many, but it's making it an entertaining fight. For me, at least. Don't know why my corruption removal didn't go off, but oh well. Oh, we actually do have an ad here. An ad or two. They're making it really hard to fight them. But yeah, it is coming back to me. I'm pretty sure, I will say, that it was about 25%-ish drop rate of teal gear from tier 10 chests, but I think it was pretty similar for tier 7 chests back in the day. So about 1 in every 4. Looks like I've gotten 2 in 4, which is good old streamer luck on my side for once. This piece, though, this is an example of... I haven't seen many delving gear with this bad itemization, but this is probably the worst itemized piece that I have seen. It's a bit rough. I suppose the fact that it's not immediately screaming out as being more useful than my 465 shoulder pads kind of speaks to its not greatness. It still has 2 essence slots though. Outgoing healing if I'm not actually healing, perfectly fine dropping that stat. Fate theoretically has uses with the power revamp still. And I think for like Rune Keeper, just to double check that I'm all up on this, yes, provides a decent bit of crit, 2.5, but no finesse. That's right. That's the weird thing.
Might you spare a moment of your time?
Alright, I'll just assume we're doing Curse Flame at this point. Feel like I basically gotta finish this NPC's quest now. Yeah, that would bother me and I wouldn't be able to sleep anyway. I guess you don't even need to light this to start the instance up. Okay, got the corruption removed. I'm basically waiting for my epic conclusion proc, then I can do the big damage. Oh no! He went into his phase right as I was gonna do that. Oh yeah, we don't even fight him until we deal with these. That's what I was more expecting, like when we actually got this, we'll have to fight all the ads. Variant 3, Malice 7. I was kind of wondering, obviously I've been slow to check that, but what all these like plain icon buffs are. So this enemy is above 85% health, they will heal themselves continuously. After your first attack, monsters gain protection based on that damage type. Interesting. So if Werewillow attacks first, they should get a physical. Like, that's what I would expect. Melee, maybe? But let's see. That is minus 50% incoming. Tactical damage still should could have used a tactical attack. It's entirely possible. Yeah, let's see. It would make sense with something like Battle Shout. Wait for it. Oh, there's an attack. Maybe this is the same mob as earlier that phased out. So that's why we're not seeing a new corruption. I really want to get this character a little bit better outfitted now. It's fun to be on the Rune Keeper. As much as I'm not playing Redline, which I typically prefer. I am enjoying the runs on him.
How can I be of service? What do you need?
3 pieces of gear? Wow. Okay, this one I would actually take. Tactical mitigation is not like a flashy or exciting stat, but you know, gotta be defended against tactical attacks, and I still could actually use some of that. Especially if you get to the mitigation penetration mechanics. There are like reasons that I am not as excited about endgame as I otherwise would be. That's just another example of something that, you know, it's not a deal breaker on its own. But it's just one of those things that with all the other stuff with endgame LOTRO content that, like, if it just didn't exist or whatever was changed, I would like so much prefer to even grind endgame content a lot more. This is one of those things with the mitigation penetration. It's just like annoying. Instead of just having the mobs be better, having like something like that impacts your character stats in a relatively hidden way. I mean, you can find it out, but yeah. Anybody remember Cascaval? He used to make videos on YouTube. I remember that name even. This is a similar hat to me. I don't know if it's the same hat. No, it is not. It actually looks like if I were playing a dwarf, I would probably prefer that hat. It just seems shaped better for a dwarf. I like that outfit. I forget where it's from. It could even be from the Delvings. I forget. Great, well that's probably all for me now. If you had anything in mind, I could probably run one more thing. Oh yeah, featured instance. Alright. Yeah, I could just spend a little bit of time, I think, cleaning up this character, so I'll probably do that. I was kind of built to not for arc success. Like, I haven't even reforged my allies, but my tracers are still level 121, a lot of them. He's not in the best shape. Okay, but yes, I think my first step. Yeah, I was pretty happy, especially with the Delvings. Even the first 3, man. Besides, like, the last boss that wanted to one-shot us. Oh. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the tanking. Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite abilities in the entirety of the game, so even if I don't play Captain, it's just exciting having it on all specs. It's like a unique effect for them. Oh yeah. Yeah, I could see that I did like that it healed. I have to be talkative to people in my cat while streaming.
Sweet-eyed Maylan.
Hey, there's a cat in the cat cam again. I don't know how long she's been there. That's good. I think you did pretty well. Yeah, it could be better, but I don't think it was too terrible. I was kind of, I guess, getting some testing with the Rune Keeper changes, and seems pretty solid. So I think for me to want to equip the shoulders, I will definitely need 2 essences, so I'll start with those. Just randomly thinking about stuff in my stats. No longer exists, wonderful. But it was equipped. Okay, so got that, got 3 delving pieces. I can't believe that. That's a lot of gear from, well, it was initially 4 delvings, but 5 total, I think is what we ran. Okay, don't need any of this. I have plenty of anxious script if anybody was concerned. This character, he needs some gold. Like, I never have gold issues until apparently I'm on this character. I don't think what I have in my inventory will work. We need a fund transfer. But I need to log into Luiden anyway, so I'm curious what he has. I feel like this is kind of random, but I'm just like standing here and seeing that I've been streaming 2.5 hours. And I feel like one way to judge how... Let's see, I was thinking how good the stream is, but that's not necessarily true. But like, I have been standing for 2.5 hours and haven't even like paid attention to my legs. So clearly I've had fun, no matter how much I've been like talking, complaining, ranting about the LIs, the various little things in the new instances that like help me not be as drawn to them as I might otherwise be, and all the other sort of stuff. I've been having fun, so I think it just says something. But yeah, I'm just like loading the character. I'm like, I can stretch my legs, move my legs, but yeah. Anyway, what is with this character's chat tab being all out of place? His skill bar. Okay. Poor Luiden. Oh wow, my inventory is clean. Imagine that over a row of free spaces. Never mind this full inbox. Why did I send that stuff from Warden to Luiden? No. No. Oh no. Okay, all this stuff still lasts a while. Why this stuff though? Ugh. Okay. Okay, yeah, I don't need any of this. But Luiden, why did I log into? Oh yeah, gold. Okay, he still has a bit of gold. But the other thing is he does have a lot of LI stuff that could potentially, that's 121 in damage over time, 121 critical, 121. Let me guess, 121. Alright. But yes, I know he carried a lot of legendary item stuff. I do also, ooh, wow, I have a lot of virtue XP on this guy. Okay, that's pretty nice to know. But yes, for LI, legendary item related stuff, I also have a lot of that stuff I kind of forgot on my lore master. but I will just send what I have to Louis 7. I'll give him, can't do that. There we go. I'll give him a little bit extra. Also, while we're in the middle of character transitioning, well, first of all, let me address the poll. It looks like, yeah, we had about 50%, 50-50, think it's same, and better. I will say that there is a decent chance that I influenced the poll for people to vote same, because I didn't want people to vote same. I think I remember at least one person commented that they voted same because of that. But I am curious. Let me check Louis 1. He was the first Louis, but not really. But yes, the other thing I was going to mention was the exciting content coming up on my channel. I have middle of next week some hopefully interesting things in the work that hopefully you all will not dislike. Which is a weird way to phrase it, but that's pretty much all I have for now on that. And with that, I'm also targeting next week / that weekend for the class guide to finally go up, but I have to figure out how to exactly handle that. Anyway, I'm being cryptic on purpose. Hopefully it builds up excitement. Otherwise, well, I'll have more information later. Of course, there Warden traceries. It looks like this character, though, he has all his LI stuff is more lower, and as far as this reward track goes, of course I'll eventually want to claim all that. I guess this character is who I'd claim it on anyway, so might as well get some of that done. What was I on, like 4? There we go. Oh, inventory overflow. Did not mean to have that happen. I guess I gotta do something about that. Yeah, we'll send this to Louis-7. Make the Hunter's armor. Ooh, Black Seal Key. If there's a character that could use that, it would be Louis-7. I hate supporting that, but it's not so much supporting when it's just something the character has. I still have inventory overflow. Alright. Okay, I think inventory overflow is gone, so we'll head back to Louis-7. Yeah, otherwise, besides the stuff that I'm being very vague about, I actually do think that I have some exciting videos coming up, and even streams. There's still a lot of Update 35 content and Update 35 related content to get to, such as Update 34 content that somehow is impacted by Update 35 with... Hold up. Eventually I'll find him. There we go, the new captain. And also Warden. He would be another one that, like, to check the Warden changes at low levels, I'd be excited to get to. But honestly, now that I have played the high level Warden quite a bit, I feel like I've almost lost this opportunity to relearn the Warden. Not really from the start, but from the low level perspective to start. So we're kind of past that. I also forget which character I'm logging into. Sorry, my water bottle's loud. But yeah, I'll have another video similar to the Tharaskar one on the Sant Lower, I think it's called something like that, the Poison Gardens instance, and potentially the 6-man, but I'm probably going to wait until the first 2 videos are up for a bit so I can get more of the feedbacks. There we go. Got my 77 gold. Got whatever these are. We'll click that one and that one. Okay, so now that I have gold, I can do the important thing of reforging. So I think one easy way to show the power of the reforge is how much more epic conclusion becomes. So I just totally exited that out, but we can see epic conclusion does so many more damages. I think it's, what was that, like 10-ish%, but again, I closed it out, so I totally lost the direct comparison of damage upgrade just from the reforge. But I think what's next is I would like to get some important traceries real quick, because I have plenty of resources, and typically I am kind of in the style of, like, for a character like this, I'll just wait until I actually get an upgrade and not use any of my resources because it really doesn't matter, which I do still think along those lines. But when I have so many of these, and even the Eagle one, it's just a pretty significant bump in stats, I think that one, for example, is easily worth the 600 ancient script. For things like enhancement runes, I'd probably still like to save most of those for my Warden, because my Warden really is my priority character, as much as I would like to and just sort of upgrade all these. But yeah, that could actually be the only thing that I really wanted to upgrade after all this. A lot of my tracers, they're all still, not all of them, but a lot of them are still stuck at level 121. But if I have the good effects, like I assume most of these are teal from the LI changes, yeah, it's probable that not all of these would actually be useful to really change. So I think, oh, actually I do have this one upgraded a bit. It's pretty good. If I were to enhance something on this character, that would be that Heraldry of the Eagle. But yeah, do technically have 10% extra morale, and I have the 6 hope buff, so my morale is a little bit, I also have Indefense of the Middle Earth, so my morale is basically a bit inflated, but it still is an improvement of where it was previously. Oh, essences. That was the other thing I wanted to check. Oh well. Again, this character, there's a good chance I won't play him a ton. But if I were to play the Rune Keeper, it would probably be around this time as the update 35 content is like still exciting and fresh and the such. Got the steel key. Oh, that also comes with ancient script, which I am way over capped on. But with the key, honestly, the easiest way to get a loot box is probably just the auction house, even though I have them filtered. Otherwise I'd get like millions of them, and I just don't like them. But I think the auction house would be the easiest way just to get one to open with the key from the reward track. That's what it's called. Where am I going? Well, the stable master is down here either way. And I think the easiest way to get the town services, or just to get an auction house, would be the town services first of all. And I think the easiest town services, I think we can go to Thorin's Street from Rivendell, but maybe not. Southbury, of course, would be perfectly viable option. But we'll see.
What can I do for you?
Okay, Southbury, let me just double check. Actually, a Delvin could be I don't know, we'll go South Bree. I imagine it's quicker to go to South Bree and travel to the Boar Fountain than it is to travel to South Bree, West Bree, then Thorns. Even though Thorns, you're like right next to the town services vendor when you get there. Oops. Except when you do that, that costs you so much time. Oh yeah, and if I actually really want to improve this character, I should go into his vault and open the Gundabad thing and get a better earring. But maybe that's best saved for later. I don't know.
Will you give me a moment of your time, friend? Greetings, friend.
Okay, this is what I would need to open. We have... Oh, I can spend 5 gold and get up the full 120. That actually helps a lot because I actually don't think you can put old allies in the vault. That's so annoying. But alas, you cannot. So I think chest... Huh? That is weird. How did that become chest... That's become chest 8, and why do they have both have cosmetics? Oh well, we're going to fill this cosmetic tab with my Light of Arundel gear. $140, that's got crit, okay. And then this piece can be disenchanted. Oh, that's actually one of the LOE pieces. I think this is LOE. And then both of these earrings I think are LOE. And then I think most... Hello? There we go. I think these are largely, yeah, I can just get rid of pieces, maybe. 458. Wait. Oh, I still had a Light of Arundel piece of gear equipped that whole time? Wow. There's a big improvement in stats. Okay, so that's... Ooh. That's, yeah, that's still an interesting piece, but... I probably should have equipped that for that one boss fight. I was getting one shot. That's a hefty upgrade to morale. Never mind both the mitigations and even the resistance. If only I were a tank. Okay, and we were able to open that full thing, and I think most of the stuff I can just right click to learn to get it out of the way. Oops, that might have belonged in chest 10. Oh well, doesn't matter. And yeah, ultimately not too bad on getting this stuff mostly situated, I will say. I can even destroy the cracked gems. It's just easier to destroy at this point than sell certain things like this. Okay, destroyed both of those. Got my new earring. That should be a decent boost in stats. I do think I lose a little bit of vitality with that, but I technically also lose a little bit of will. Unfortunately, unlike the Warden, these aren't like doubly as good or 1.5 times as good for main stat double dipping. But I think with even the little bit of fate, but the will, vitality, fate, and of course the big ones, large amount of mastery and critical rating. Overall pretty beneficial. I do like this chest piece. I don't know if it's particularly great looking for a Rune Keeper. This looks more like medium armor to me. Like something I'd wear on a medium armor class. Or a minstrel. Definitely not in sea blue though. Ooh, forest green. I like that one. Rivendell green. If I were a hunter, I think I could go with either of those. Some hobbits, not some hobbits, some minstrels might like that. Steel blue. I like steel blue on that. Not a big fan of purple. Red is what made me think minstrel, but I don't know that I'd actually use that in red. Probably not dark green either. Instead of dark green, I'd like the darker green, Rivendell green. Anyway, yeah, that is neat looking, and I think with the right cosmetics and right characters, definitely a set I could use. Perhaps even captain. I could see myself kind of liking that on a captain. And that is Lexi's wake up routine. Anyway, what next? Oh yeah, so auction house. Travelers, is that what I want? That is minimum 120. Okay. So we want level 131, yeah, 87 silver. I'm surprised people even put the effort of putting them on the auction house. Oh, I hate this, but hey, we got an essence box out of it. Wow. And this, I think, highlights why loot boxes are bad value. But if you have a free black steel key from the reward track, I mean, what other option do you really have? Okay, character stat wise, for what? Let me make sure I re-equip these, just in case something funky is going on with that. But yes, character stat wise, tactical mastery still appears to be the higher priority stat for me. And I would not waste an essence on finesse. So, all that said, for this, oh, I hate that I would love vitality, but I'll grab tactical mastery and put that on the boots. Once I get enough like decent gear on a character like this, I should not really want vitality as much anymore. It's just because of the gear that this character currently has more vitality, and I think decently shown with the one-shots is always useful. A pocket item. Actually, if I have the embers, I forget they don't have an embers trader here, do they? Did they even ever add an embers trader to Gundabad, or did they like forever leave that off? But I'm thinking that depending how many embers I have, I would not necessarily mind spending them on a pocket item for this character. But maybe that wouldn't even be a good value, because you can get decent pocket items from the new 6-man, and it's even possible my Warden would have an upgrade for this character. So strike that. I won't be using my embers on that. In fact, I'm curious. Let's do level 1. Yeah, just do straight up 140. All it could be, like, if I do 131 to 140, just in case, like I'm seeing, not 140, but near 140. But yeah, like this. Even this would be an upgrade for this character. It's not particularly appealing stat-wise, but it's cheap. I can afford it compared to these other ones. So, there we go. There is a very unfortunate, but fortunate at the same time upgrade for this character. But I think with that, a good point for me to wrap up this stream. I've actually been here a lot longer than expected. Almost made it 3 hours even with the late start. Piper's about to send a bunch of question words to Sage Chat, but yeah, I feel like I made pretty good progress. Didn't expect to play the Rune Keeper all day. I actually expected to play my Warden and just other characters, but I had good run of the 2 3-mans and some delvings. So pretty good overall. And on that note, I'll go ahead and get wrapped up. Again, I have exciting content coming up. I am anticipating though that the next video, I have to see how this works with my schedule, but I think streaming Friday would make sense and having a video Thursday and then a video Saturday would make most sense for me at the moment. So that is the tentative plan, assuming I can actually get to everything for content coming up. Anyway, as far as the content in this stream, I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you did, please consider liking and subscribing for more, or becoming a channel member to support the content. Again, thanks to the members who have been here throughout the stream, and thanks for joining, chatting, and watching, everyone.